Well, hello and welcome. I'm Colin Daniel from riffninja.com, and today we have a series of lessons on the Joker by Steve Miller. 1973, a classic G, C, and D chord progression. We're going to look at some ways to present this song as a single guitar piece rather than as a band, because a lot of you folks out there that have been my students don't have a band to play with, and you're on your own. And if you want, this is a great song to play around the campfire or family reunions or family picnics or whatever, and get everybody singing along, because everybody knows the chorus. And it's a cool sing-along song. You could be a real champion with this, a real star. I've used the original recording as inspiration for this, and over the years the song has been played in several different keys, and I'm not going to touch on any of that. What I'm going to tell you is that I'm tuned down a whole step, and the reason why is because that is really physically the only way that you can play it in the key that it originally was in. I mean, if you've got a high enough voice, you can just play the same chords that I'm teaching you right now in standard tuning. But I want it to be more period correct and play it in the whole step lower tuning. So the whole step lower tuning is exactly the same as E, like E, A, D, G, B, and E, just one tone lower. So the E becomes D, the A becomes G, the D becomes C, the G becomes F, the B becomes A, and then the high E becomes high D. Now all your chord patterns, all your forms are technically the same, but they're one step lower. So when I use G, C, and D, and I'm tuned down a whole step to D standard, the G is no longer G, it's an F. The C is no longer a C, it's a B flat. And the D is no longer a D, it's a C. Now, if we had to play that song in the original key in standard tuning, we'd have to play F, B flat, and C, which is not a very good chord progression, especially for folks that aren't like really experienced musicians. And even Steve Miller didn't play it that way either. So it'd be awkward. So even though I'm calling this a G, C, and D through the lessons, it's actually technically F, B flat, and C. But it's the same pattern, same fingering, so you shouldn't worry too much about it. Now, you've got some options, and I just wanted to mention them. You got a basic G, C, and D, which if you're at this lesson and you don't know those chords, you're in trouble, because I don't want to go over them in deep detail. This isn't for a raw beginner. This is for somebody that at least knows a few open chords. And this is the most common G, the way I'm playing it now, most common C and the most common D. But I also have other options. You can play the G like this, which has the extra finger that I'm using. So instead of playing the G with your third finger on the first string, third fret, you move your third finger over and play it on the second string, third fret, and drop your pinky down on the third fret, first string, where your third finger used to be, right? It just adds a little bit more of a texture. Also for the C, instead of playing C like this, I like to play C with a G bass, just a richer chord. And the D, well, there's no trick to that. It's the same. Some people just bar it like that or add an F sharp bass, but we don't need that in this song. So a lot of times you'll see me playing this G, this C, and this straight ahead D. Now, there's also another option, and that is to play the G, then you play this chord where you just move your first and second finger over one string each. So you go from this G major with your third and fourth finger sitting on the second and first string, and you don't move those. You just move your first and second finger over one string each, and that becomes the C ninth, and that's C major ninth, not C blues ninth. C major ninth. And then to go to the D, it's really easy. Take your pinky off and move your first and second finger over to the third and first string to create the D chord. Okay? Those are really cool chords. Those are some of your options. Now, any combination of these chords would work. It's kind of your choice. The verse progression is a 2-bar phrase, and I've seen people try to play it as one piece, and some of them do a pretty good job of it, and others don't. But if you don't have a lot of skill, you could easily just strum through this song with the strum I'm about to give you, because it matches and lines up rhythmically really well with the original recording. And there is more than one guitar happening in the recording of the Joker. And so we're going to kind of make it so it flows for a single guitar rather than thinking that maybe you have somebody to jam with or not. This way you can play the song and it's recognizable. That's one of the things that's really important about doing a song, and you're performing it for your relatives or your friends or a group of people who want to sing along. It has to be recognizable. They have to connect with it, okay? So it's a G, a C, a D, and a C. It's a 2-bar phrase, and I usually do this. 2 down strums, and then a mute. So C, mute, D, mute. Then we get back to the C, and it goes 3E and 4E, and down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Those are 16ths. So now it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can hear the song in just the way I strum it, and that's the idea behind a strum, is to be able to recognize the rhythm and the character of the song in that. And this will capture the feel of the song even if you never learn the bass lines for it. Because the bass line is separate too, and I'll get to that too. But so now an arrangement is probably one of the most important things. If you're going to entertain, you're going to present the song to friends or family or some audience of some kind, you need an arrangement. You need to get that into your head. You need to, and this is an easy way to learn a song, is in sections. Trying to learn it and memorize the whole thing all at once will just frustrate you. So my recommendation is just go through it like I have and slowly learn the parts, and then it'll be a breeze to get through it. Now, whatever you choose to play, whether you later choose to play the bass line or not, make it so that it's recognizable. Now we have an issue with the start, because in the original recording of the start, there's just a drum fill and it comes in. You don't hear the count, but trust me, the drummer is counting it, whether it's in his head or whether they counted it and then edited it out for the recording for its release to the public. I don't know that, but I know that you have to have a count. I got a suggestion for you. You've got 2 things you can do. You can either just use the 2-bar phrase I just taught you, start singing there, right? Or you could do a little drum tap, which is a lot of fun, on your acoustic guitar, right? And it's just a little bit of a beat. And so I've got that for you too. And that you have to count a full bar so that you have time to grab on to the feel of the song, right? So if you're going to do it, it'd be like 1, 2, 3, and a 4E-N. 1, 2, 3, and a 4E-N. And find a nice big spot on your guitar. 1, 2, 3, and a 4E-N. And so the 1, the 2, and the first eighth note of the 3, there's nothing, but it's a way for you to reference what you're doing. So now do it really slow. 1, 2, 3, and a 4E-N. 5 hits altogether. 1, 2, 3, and a 4E-N. 1, and then right after that, you got to learn to go. So it'll go 1, 2. Try that again. 1, 2, 3, and a. Oops. Try that again. 1, 2, 3, and a 4E-N. And you'd have to start right in there. So I'll leave that choice up to you, whatever your audience is or how you feel about it. But learn, just practice getting into the chord, like the transition, like 1, 2, 3, and a 4E-N. So you notice that I hold the pick like most people do with my first finger and my thumb. And so I use my other 3 fingers to find a sweet spot on my guitar and just tap it with the flats, kind of flat edge of my fingers, right? And you could, like that, but I think this sounds good. 1, 2, 3, and a 4E-N. So you just need to practice that a bit till you get the hang of it, and then you'll be golden. So once you've got the intro with your fill on your guitar, once you get into it, because the verse starts right after that, right? It's like 1, 2, 3, and a 4E-N verse, right? You're going to do 8 times the 2-bar phrase. That's the 2-bar phrase, right? I'm going to do that 8 times for a total of 16 bars. After that, you're good to go, and we're going to head to the chorus. So you work on this. I will see you in the next lesson. If you like this style of teaching in this lesson, you can come and check out another series I have for you folks. It's a free series, and it's at riffninja.com/strumming songs. Come and check it out. Thanks for your time. We'll see you in the next lesson.